Life has a way of testing us in ways we never imagined. Sometimes it feels like the world itself is against you, when you lose someone you love, when failure becomes your constant companion, when no matter how much you try, nothing seems to move forward. These are the moments when life breaks you, when your spirit feels crushed, and your mind spins endlessly in doubt and fear. Everyone knows this feeling, yet each person carries it silently, pretending to be strong. And yet, history shows us that people have been broken countless times before. Emperors, slaves, philosophers, soldiers, mothers, fathers, all faced the unbearable weight of being human. And out of that pain emerged something powerful, Stoicism. A philosophy born not in comfort, but in hardship. A guide not for abstract thought, but for survival. When life breaks you, Stoicism does not tell you to ignore the pain. It doesn't lie to you with false promises of happiness around the corner. Instead, it meets you where you are, at rock bottom, and shows you that strength is not about avoiding suffering, but about learning how to live with it without being destroyed. This is why it has lasted for over 2,000 years. Because no matter how advanced our technology, no matter how modern our world becomes, we still suffer in the same ways the ancients did. We still lose. We still fear. We still break. And so we still need the wisdom they carried. Think about Epictetus. Born a slave, beaten, humiliated, and treated as property. If anyone had the right to complain, it was him. Yet, from chains and wounds, he rose to become one of the greatest teachers of inner freedom. He understood something most people miss: you cannot control the outside world, but you can always control your response to it. And in that choice lies your true power. When life broke him, Stoicism gave him a way out, not by changing the cruelty of his master, but by mastering himself. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, faced wars, betrayal, and the death of his own children. Imagine that, having the whole empire in your hands, yet powerless against the fragility of life. His meditations were written not as grand philosophy for others, but as private notes to himself, reminders to stay calm, to remember that even emperors are mortal, that no wealth or title can protect you from loss. He wrote these words in the quiet of his tent while his empire burned at the edges. And those words, raw and honest, show us how Stoicism works not as a shield to block pain, but as a compass to guide you through it. Seneca, one of the most eloquent Stoics, wrote letters while knowing his life could be ended at any moment by the Emperor Nero. He spoke about the shortness of life, the importance of using time well, and the futility of clinging to what will one day be taken. And when his time came, when Nero ordered him to die, Seneca calmly accepted his fate, proving with his final breath that the philosophy he lived by was not mere words but a way of being unbroken, even in death. So what does all this mean for us? We don't live in ancient Rome. We aren't slaves or emperors. But we face battles of our own. Modern life may not throw us into gladiator arenas, but it puts us in mental ones every day. Anxiety, overthinking, endless comparison, constant pressure to prove ourselves. These are the chains of our age. And just like the Stoics, we can either let them crush us or we can rise above them by mastering the only thing truly ours, our mind. When life breaks you, it feels unfair. It feels personal. But Stoicism reminds us that hardship is the law of existence. Nature never promised ease. The storms will come, the losses will come, but what matters is not that you fall, but whether you rise again. Every setback is an invitation to practice resilience. Every heartbreak is a chance to learn detachment. Every failure is a teacher disguised as pain. To the Stoic, life's cruelty is not the end, it is the beginning of strength. The truth is, most of our suffering does not come from events themselves, but from our interpretation of them. Someone insults you, not a tragedy. But if you replay their words 1,000 times, make them larger in your mind, let them poison your peace, then you have harmed yourself far more than they ever could. This is why Epictetus said, men are disturbed not by things, but by the views they take of them. Life may break your plans, but whether it breaks your spirit depends on you. Stillness is the antidote to breaking. In stillness, you realize that emotions pass, that pain is temporary, that the worst storm will one day become memory. The Stoics trained themselves to pause, to reflect, to breathe before reacting. In modern times, where every beep of a phone drags our mind into chaos, this practice is more urgent than ever. Imagine how much anxiety would vanish if you learned to pause, to separate yourself from your first reaction, to see life as it is, not as your fears paint it. That is the gift of stillness. But Stoicism is not just about calmness, it is about courage. When life breaks you, courage is choosing to keep going. To wake up each day and face the same struggle without giving up. To do what is right even when it is difficult. To accept suffering not as a punishment, but as the price of being alive. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the mastery of it. And this is what Stoicism teaches, that you are stronger than you think, that within you there is a mind capable of withstanding more than you can imagine. Think of the image the Stoics loved, the strong fire. Throw wood into it, and it consumes it, making the flame only grow stronger. Life will throw problems at you, losses at you, pain at you. But instead of extinguishing your spirit, let them feed your flame. Let hardship refine you, discipline you, make you unshakable. This is the Stoic way out of being broken, not by avoiding struggle, but by transforming it. And yet, Stoicism also teaches compassion. Life is not only breaking you, it is breaking everyone. Every person you meet is carrying invisible burdens, silent griefs, hidden struggles. The Stoic way is not about being cold or distant, but about remembering that we are all part of the same human story. By being kind, by forgiving, by understanding, we ease not only their suffering but also our own. Because the more we resist anger, envy, and hatred, the lighter we become. In the end, the Stoic way out of being broken is not to seek a perfect life, but to accept the imperfect one fully. To live in accordance with nature, which means to flow with what comes, to release what goes, and to stand firm in your values no matter what storms arise. Life will break your plans, your dreams, even your heart. But it cannot break your mind unless you allow it. And that is where freedom lies. So when life breaks you, remember Marcus writing in his tent, Seneca calmly facing death, Epictetus teaching freedom in chains. Remember that countless before you have endured worse and still found peace. You too can rise from the ashes, stronger, calmer, freer. Pain will visit you, yes. But it will not own you. Suffering will shape you, yes. But it will not define you. You will walk through the fire, and instead of being destroyed, you will be transformed. That is the promise of Stoicism. That is the way out.